Well, thank you all for staying for this interview. Vince is who I talked about this morning. That's our ultimate sponsor. And Vince, I'm glad to have this opportunity to interview you.
No, I'm happy to be here. And thank you guys for sticking around.
Now, a couple of key themes that have come out of some sessions I've been in today. Everybody here wants high net worth and ultra high net worth clients. You have attracted many of them and helped advisors do the same. That's number one. Number two, a lot of those high net worth and ultra high net worth individuals are business owners. So their assets are tied up. And so you want to work with them early for that future liquidity event, but sometimes when that doesn't come, it's hard to get revenue from those clients because they may not have a lot of assets to invest in the traditional financial advisory model. So you solve both of these problems. Can you talk to us about that?
So 100% of the clients that we work with are business owners, usually between the ages of 40 and 60. Their net worth is 10 million and above typically. And all these business owners have the same issues. I talked to probably 1,000 of these clients over the last 25 years, and every single one of them, when I asked them, have they done any estate planning? 70% of them have done nothing. So we always lead in with the estate planning. We educate them on basic estate planning, setting up a regular AB trust, which a lot of people are aware of. And we help them, either introduce them to the lawyers. We got some legal lawyers in the cloud that we can do, basic estate planning, and we have some advanced attorneys that we could refer to them to do some advanced planning. But all advanced planning has the same common theme. You have your AB trust for your basic planning, and when you're over the $30 million threshold, you set up irrevocable trust. Now, when you set up an irrevocable trust, the whole idea of estate planning is with GRATs or GRUTs or family limited partnerships, you reduce the size of your estate, and then you transfer assets out of your name. Well, none of these business owners like that idea because they don't want to lose control. We tell them our solution is I have big banks that will fund these irrevocable trusts for them at a rate of less than 6%. And we're funding a vehicle that's making anywhere from 8 to 10% with a 24-year track record. So if you can borrow money at 6% and make 8 to 10% on the return, we're talking their language. Because most of these business owners, all their assets are either in their own business or in real estate. So they could be dirt rich, but they don't have hardly any money in investments in the markets. So this is how we get in the door with these clients, and this is how we're closing a lot of big deals.
So these are strategies that most advisors are not talking about. First of all, you're talking about advanced estate planning. We're not attorneys. And these clients that are generally hard to find and hard to get access to, for some reason they're responding to these strategies, and we're talking about them coming from financial advisors. So this is a little outside the realm of what most of us are used to. So how does this really work?
So we get introduced to a lot of these higher net worth people through advisors. We get introduced to them, through different channels. Like we speak at family office events, we speak at real estate events, we speak at hotel owners association events, and we educate everybody. We always lead with estate planning. We never lead with the product or the solution. We always lead just with general estate planning, that you got to get your house in order. What's the point of building up this big estate and get worth $50 million or $100 million, and you're going to give 40% of everything over $30 million to the government? So we educate them on that problem, and we have a really cool landing page that when you come to our breakout session, I'll show you how we have a calculator that shows them what their potential problem is. Once they see that and they know they have a problem, they can make a choice and do nothing. The problem is not going to go away because the government's out of control with their spending. They can defer the problem, let their kids worry about it, and then their kids have to either sell property at a loss or they have to go borrow money later to take care of the problem. We show them how with leverage they can set aside interest payments of maybe $1.5 million to $2 million and have like $30 or $50 million in an irrevocable trust waiting for their family to protect all their assets.
Why does this work better for attracting that audience than just going to them and talking about, for example, access to private markets, which is also a pretty hot topic, right? Like, infrastructure, debt, credit,
Okay.
Why not that?
So I work with these high net worth individuals. If you guys see my calendar, I probably have, and I'm not exaggerating, 10 to 12 appointments every week with clients anywhere from 20 million to 100 million. I'm working on 2 cases right now where both the clients are worth over $200 million. Every one of these clients, they all think the same way. They don't think like your typical, investment financial planning client. They're always looking for money. They're so rich, but every time they get $1 million in their pocket, they're looking for the next deal they can invest in. So a lot of them don't have a lot of liquidity because they're always investing their money in new deals. When I tell them that I have big banks, and I work with about a dozen different banks for the last 20 years, I can get as much money as they can qualify for to fund their estate plan. Now I'm talking their language because they're always looking for money. I have guys that are worth 300 million and they're calling me up looking for loans. And they have way more money than I have. So they're always looking for money. And I think that's really where the communication, you're connecting with them on their level and you're thinking the way they think and you're presenting the way they want to be presented to.
Now, I know these transactions are very large, but we've already talked a lot about how it's relationships over transactions and, humanity first, right? We've talked about that as a theme through this conference. All these advisors care about taking care of their clients. And I know a lot of your referrals come because of the real impact of this strategy. Can you talk a little bit about when you do these advanced estate planning strategies and when you're leveraging this way, what are the outcomes that these clients are getting that makes it so attractive to them?
Well, they're getting peace of mind. I mean, that's the big thing, knowing that they worked their whole lives to build up this, legacy, this fortune. And if they do nothing, they're going to lose almost half of it in taxes. And if they do some planning, we can protect maybe all of it. So that's really the key. And another key thing is a way of thinking different. You got to get their other advisors involved in the transaction. So I was just working on a case now. One of those cases, I said the guy's almost worth 200 million. We have his attorney involved. We have the CPA involved. They even hired an actuary to check all our numbers. And we're going, and with all four of us, the actuary, the client, the CPA, and the attorney, all on a call together, and we're educating everybody how the whole transaction works. And so now they're going into it with their eyes wide open, and they made a commitment to to do the transaction.
Okay, sounds very interesting and powerful to do it that way. It also sounds like a nightmare to coordinate all those experts.
Yeah.
So I mean,
well, that's what we do.
Okay.
So we do everything for you guys. We help you identify the prospect. You identify the prospect. We have a whole process, and our process is very intentional, very deliberate, but it's educational and to the point. So a lot of business owners don't like to waste a lot of time on all the intricate details. They like to know what the problem is and how they're going to solve it. So we have this landing page that we explain to them how the process works before we even show them any solutions or even talk about their problems specifically. Once we educate them just on the general concept, then we set up another meeting and we go more granular in their problems. And then we will build a plan for them. We set up another meeting. All those meetings, we're conducting the interviews for the advisor. And you introduce us as your back office for this specific strategy. And I close more of these transactions. Our firm, we have 42 people in our back office in Clearwater, Florida. We hire people that are statisticians from the local college, and they have this contest every year, and they have a winner of this contest, and it's like the best in class, and that's who we try to hire every year. We got about 8 of them in our office that are all analytical statistician people, do all these different presentations. But we do that for you, and you introduce us as your back office for this particular transaction. All our material has your logo on it. We brand you. We have little videos that explain how it works. Once we make the presentation, we send them the landing page, let them look at it again, and then we make the presentation. And after we make the sale, we'll meet with them every 2 weeks until the transaction is done, which may take about a month to 2 months to complete the transaction. And then we do reviews every single year for the next 10 to 15 years. We have a whole department, that's all they do every single day. We do about 100, they call them illustrations, we do about 100 illustrations a day just for reviews of existing customers.
Okay, so we have this strategy. It's an advanced strategy. Maybe some of us already know what it is. Maybe some of us don't fully understand it yet, but we're just going to say this is working for attracting that audience. Mm-hmm. But I'm a traditional wealth manager. What I really want are the assets when they have a liquidity event later, when they sell that land, when they sell that business.
Well, not only for them, but also for the next generation, because you're protecting the wealth for the next generation. It's going to be the beneficiaries of all this stuff.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So I know that that's going to come later, and this is now to get in and build the relationship, right, with them and the next generation, because it really impacts the heirs, because a lot of it's powered by life insurance as well, a big piece of it. So how does this help me make the relationship meaningful and profitable for the firm while I do this work, while I await that later outcome?
Well, hopefully no one's allergic to making commissions, because you can get paid if you get licensed, a nice commission. The one transaction that I'm just referring to with the actuary and the CPA, I think the death benefit's $35 million, and the commission is over $500,000 on one transaction the first year. And then every year there's a renewal premium of about $2 million at 2%. What does that come out to? $100,000?
I'm too tired to do math, Vince.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
Me too. So, but there's another renewal thing for the next, the next 9 years, and it comes out to be, maybe another couple $300,000.
Yeah. So I know from just watching you over the last 15 or 20 years, I've seen you take a lot of advisors who are at one level, like maybe they're making 200 a year, and you're taking them and they're turning them into $1 million producers. How do you take all of this and actually get the advisors educated, prepared to be able to actually talk to these individuals in a way that will attract them? And how do you think they have to change the way they communicate to be successful in attracting that audience if they're not used to working with somebody that has $50 million?
What I always tell people, don't try and be an expert at it. Think like a CEO. That's one of our themes. And hire people that are experts at it. I may not be good at a lot of things, but I'm pretty good at selling this transaction. We do more of these transactions than anybody in the whole country. And if I was in your shoes, I would just say, hey, I went to a conference and I was at a meeting and went to the breakout, and I seen this transaction that these people do. They work with high net worth individuals just like you. And I think when I seen the presentation, I think it's something you'd want to know about, and then get them on a Zoom call and let us educate them of how this can be a good solution for their problems, and let the customer show you. We're closing these deals. I don't like to brag and talk big numbers, but I think like this month, I have like 7 or 8 cases that I'm trying to close by the end of the month, over $5 million of commissions in 1 month.
Yeah.
So, who does that kind of business? I'm doing the cases myself, and I don't even believe it sometimes. And I'm working on them every single day. But the reason why it makes sense, we're working with clients with bigger problems that have to write bigger checks, and it's a lot easier for those checks to be written when someone else is writing the check, like the bank. And you're showing them how the math makes sense for them to, the economics make sense for them to do the transaction.
Yeah. Well, this is a short interview. I know this is a marketing conference, and so this might be unusual because we're talking about a financial strategy, which we don't usually do at marketing conferences. But you also help the firms with the marketing, and this is a revenue and growth driver.
Yeah.
And it's not for everybody, but for anybody who wants to learn more about this, I know you have a breakout session next. Mm-hmm. And what should they expect if they come? Well,
if you come to the breakout, you'll understand our process a little better. You understand like who you can network with to get more of these clients. You'll see some of the tools that we have that you could use to help educate your clients on how the whole thing works, and you just get more familiar with the whole process, and then in us and how we can make a difference in your practice.
Well, Vince, thank you. Thank you for supporting Jolt. Vince is our ultimate sponsor. You want to give Vince a round of applause for all he did to fund Jolt for us?
Thank you, Robert.
Yeah. Thank you for your support.
Yeah.
And thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. We'll see you at our breakout.